So welcome to the live stream for May, the public live stream. I'm going to start off with the old subject of writing a correct name, how to do it using correct sentence structure, communication, parse, syntax, grammar. Once in a while, I'll get an individual who approaches me not because they want to take workshops or get serious about learning the grammar, but because they want to somehow half-ass their way through it because they have some sort of uh, court case going on, and they think that there is some other way to gain success with this technology other than using it. I mean, other than learning it in its full 100% capacity. And there really isn't. I mean, sure, you might get lucky, but in the same sense, very nasty things might happen to you if you don't know what you're doing. And so this individual had approached me about how to write a correct name with the addition of the word junior in their name. I asked them if they wanted a brief consultation. They said yes. I scheduled it. We had the consultation. I told them, I explained to them how to write the full correct punctuated name with the addition of the junior word. And I even did it on a whiteboard like you see on your screen right there. I even did it like that. Gave them the closure. And then a few days later, they write me another email saying that they forgot. And could I tell them how to write their full correct name with the word junior at the end after I had already given them quite a bit of my now space, gave them a lesson, offered them workshops. They said that maybe in the future they will, but right now, no, of course. So basically, it appears to me they were just looking for freebies, and now they're looking for another freebie. Well, here's the freebie, and I hope they're here to see it. Because I have done many, multiple videos on the topic of writing a full correct name. And it goes back to the basics of correct sentence structure, communication, parse, syntax, grammar. Meaning the difference between titles and names and correct sentence structure. A sentence is not a sentence without a verb in it by the rules of correct grammar. If the word group does not have a verb correctly positioned, and it consists only of two position loadio fact phrases in general, then that means it's a title or it's a name. And this is what you would learn when you learn the basics of this stuff. This is basic kindergarten stuff as far as correct sentence structure goes. I know this individual that emailed me probably hasn't watched very many of my videos. Definitely hasn't done any time to do searches, because I typed in a search on my channel just using the words correct name, and at least 4 or 5 videos popped up detailing that very topic. So for example, this individual, if you can see on your screen right there, you see I've used my name as an example. And in this case, because none of these words have been positioned correctly, Jason would be an adjective, Matthew would be an adjective, glass would be an adjective, and the JR would be a pronoun. It's fiction babble. They suggested, what if we do this? Put a colon here, a hyphen there, a colon here, and a colon here, and then we do this. Is that okay? there anybody out there that can tell me what's wrong with this? This is, again, this is day one, kindergarten, rudimentary level stuff. Can anyone out there tell me what the mistake is? Not only that, how to fix it. Anyone? Bueller? Are you out there? By the way, the individual named as Amun Ra, thank you for your membership. I'm not sure what you're doing with the parentheses and all that in there. But I would appreciate if you call me Jason. That is my name. I don't claim any titles. I mean, if you want to give me a title, that's your volition, but I do not accept any titles except the ones that I create for myself. And in this venue, the only title I have right now is Correct Sentence Structure, Communication, Parse, Syntax, Grammar Tutor. Although in other videos, I do put on my Grammar Auditor, Document Contract Court Authority title as well. But for this channel, it's mostly Grammar Tutor. So you can call me Tutor, but I would prefer it if you call me Jason. Thank you very much. Emin Ra Confrad Lowell. Not sure what that means. So no one has an answer for this? No one watching this right now has a rudimentary kindergarten level closure of correct sentence structure? No ideas as to what is wrong here? Nothing? Well, let's write this out. So this first colon, using correct sentence structure concatenation, positional sequencing, would be for the. And then we put our fact in, our compound fact. And this next colon is going to have to be of the. It's going to have to represent the positional of and the lodial the. And then we have glass. Now, this is basically as far as we can go with anything, unless we put a verb in there to move it into the possessive and the authority. But there is no verb or any type of movement in this sentence. Every correct sentence structure starts with a position lodial fact phrase, followed by another position lodial fact phrase, two position lodial fact phrases, no more, no less. So if I was to write this out, this colon would represent with the junior, and then junior, with the junior. So now it says for the Jason Matthew of the glass with the junior. That's what this individual was suggesting, obviously, because they don't know. Thank you, Amun Ra. I appreciate that. The reason why it doesn't work is because if you read it backwards, it now becomes of the junior with the glass by the Jason Matthew. That's why there has to be a verb after the first two position lodial fact phrases. That's why this is not correct. And that's why I know that this individual hasn't really done any studying. So I'm just going to write it out in its correct fashion. what some people would call a gimme, a spoon feeding scenario. That's how I would write it. That's one way to write it. And then if your platform allows, you can underline the whole thing. Jason-Matthew: Glass Jr. Let me write that out for you for the continuance of the evidence. There you go. That's how you would write a full correct name using the word junior in there. And I mean, common sense says that you can use it for senior as well. And that's why I put a tilde in front of junior, because junior is a location as opposed to senior, which is also a location. Or, I mean, if you are the third child in your family with this type of name, you could just do something like that. Jason-Matthew Glass third. And then fourth, fifth, sixth, you know, whatever you got going on over there. So that's why we put tilde to inform us of a location. It's the location of Jason-Matthew Glass Jr. as opposed to Jason-Matthew Glass Sr. And if you look at my life claim, now I'm not a junior, but this is hypothetical for educational and entertainment purposes only, i.e. knowledge cultivation purposes. If you look at my life claim, it would say Jason-Matthew Glass, comma space, tilde, Jr., period. I am the authority of my name. It is what it is. You have no say in the matter. So if you want to contract with me, that's the name you contract with. And then you look at the life claim and you see the DNA on it, the thumbprint, and the picture. And it's obviously me. I am the location of that name. It's the location, hence the tilde. As opposed to Jason-Matthew Glass, comma space, tilde, Senior. In their life claim, they would have those exact words on there, and in their picture and their DNA, in continuance of the evidence of who they are as a living, breathing creature. And so that's the location of that name, as opposed to this name. That's what a location is, folks. So there you have it. That's my little lesson. Let me get out of here, and hopefully nothing will go wrong. Check 1, 2. Okay, cool. Still hear me. Awesome. Yes, quadruple A, we use tildes for locations. And a position is a position. All right. Gone about 18 minutes into this. Not going to go on too long unless people start yapping and asking questions. I'm not going to, force a live stream. Yes, I know, but isn't the title of junior being a position instead of a location? Quadruple A, did you just hear what I just said in the last 2 minutes explaining how it's a location? Maybe you go back and listen to that later because I just explained it. And that's how I would write it in my contracts and how I have written it in contracts. How you write it in your contracts is your volition. I mean, maybe you can create a channel, start teaching the differences between what you think the difference is between a position and a location. I have those things in my dictionary. I don't know if you have them in your dictionary, but I have a correct sentence structure, communication, parsing, syntax, grammar, finite mean for position, and a correct sentence structure, communication, parsing, syntax, grammar, finite mean for location. They're two separate, completely separate things. So I don't know if you have that depth of closure in your construct, but I do appreciate the question. For clarification purposes, my volition for the term sensei was with the meaning of the word teacher as a term of endearment and respect. I appreciate your correction. Well, I know that, Amundra. I'm not oblivious to that type of stuff, and I do appreciate it, man, from my heart or woman. I mean, I don't want to make any assumptions here. No assumption, presumption here. You as a human being, I do appreciate that volition. However, I'm very finicky about that. I'm kind of how do you want to say it? Worn out on the whole titles thing because there's so many folks going around here with titles in the quantum grammar domain that just throw titles around like they're hats when they have no business doing so. I mean, they do have business doing so. They make a lot of money off of doing that, but with no substance to it, and I don't ever want to be confused with those mother fathers. And again, quadruple A, about the position versus location. Got to think about it in the context of your contracts. Like everything that I do, everything that I create, the mechanics that I use comes from a point of practicality, meaning it has probably come up in a contract situation or scenario that I was involved with, that I had to do this or that, make a decision, a choice about this or that, or using this or that. And I use the thing that makes the most sense. I want to apologize. The malfunctioning of the membership behind the scenes things needs to get updated on my end. No apology necessary, quadruple A. I appreciate your longtime viewership from the bottom of my heart, man. I do appreciate you've been here a long time. And, I hope you're here a long time to come as well. Thank you. I know what I can do for a few more minutes here. Since no one has any questions, I'll explain or give it my best shot to give closure on why the things on this channel with over 1,000 videos free sometimes contradict the things in David-WYNN Miller's videos. I'll explain that because it's very, very simple. And if you're a longtime viewer like quadruple A, you're gonna hear me say this and be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. If you look at David-WYNN Miller's videos, you will see contradictions in his teachings. You will see if you even have a smidgen of closure on the grammar, rudimentary, beginner, 5%er type stuff, you only have closure on 5% of the grammar, you will see that there are mistakes on every single page of his textbook, every single page of his website, or any other documents that he has published. And by extension, not only that, his apprentice, his student, his protege, Russell J. Gould, you'll find the same thing with his stuff. Mistakes every single page. And you don't even need to have 100% closure to see that. It's obvious by their own rules. So what happened was, my tutor, Raven, Farhad, Tohidi, Afarin, he took the stuff that made sense and could be proven with a continuance of the evidence. It could be certified through a continuance of the evidence. He took that stuff out of the technology. He extracted that stuff. And the stuff that was hearsay, presumption, assumption, and there was no closure for, threw it away. Because what good is it if you can't prove it? Because see, the issue was back in the day, back in 2017, back in 2018, when Raven and I were conclaving about this, we noticed like everybody's syntaxing was different. Like there were inconsistencies in syntaxing. So much so that it was like, well, how can the be an adjective here and the be an adverb here? That makes absolutely no sense. So he went through when he was teaching me, and then later on, after I got closure on it, or enough closure to proceed on my own, I went through and took it, further, kept extracting mechanics and things like that. And of course, I ran it by him because he's my tutor, and that's the honor and grace that I have for him, just to make sure everything's correct. And then I would put it on the internet. And then, like, for example, this is the big one. And this goes back to what I was saying at the beginning of the video about the name and having two position loadial fact phrases in front of the verb. Or if there's no verb, two position loadial fact phrases for a title or a name, things like that. You can't have any more than that, or you got to put a verb in there. It comes from David's own teachings, which I have at least 2 or 3 videos of him in front of a dry erase board showing the correct sentence structure concatenation for the facts, of the facts, are, with the facts, of the facts, with the facts, by the facts, full stop. And then explicitly saying, you would never have an of the next to an of the, a with the next to a with the. With the always comes after the verb, and then it's either followed with a by the, or if you're going to keep going, it has to be of the, and then a with the has to precede the authority. The authority is by the. By the always, always, always comes at the end. For the always, always, always comes at the beginning. And that's because of the mathematical interface. For is congruent with by, of is congruent with. It always starts with for the facts, of the facts, are, blah, blah, blah. If you end it with of the facts, by the facts, period, when you read that backwards, now it becomes for the facts, with the facts. And that makes no sense. It has to be for the facts, of the facts, cause, concern, verb, possessive, concern, possessive authority. That's how the mathematical interface works. 1 plus 2 equals 3. 3 minus 2 equals 1. The positionals serve the function of the plus and the minus sign because they're congruent with one another. That's how we can do it. The facts maintain the same value forwards and backwards. That's how we can check the sentence. So that's how I did it. I took all the stuff that I could certify that David-WYNN Miller said and he taught, took that and made videos about it, because I wouldn't say anything on this channel grammatically that I cannot prove with a continuance of the evidence. There's nothing on here that you can find or that anybody has found that I can't prove, that I can't show them where it came from or how it was created. And all the stuff that, the fantastic stuff that David said about his personal life and other things like that, threw that all to the side. It's not really necessary to learning this grammar. They're wonderful stories. True or not, I have no idea. But they're wonderful stories. Cool to listen to sometimes. But the grammar is what I stuck with. So that's the story of why you will find contradictions on this channel from what David used to teach. Because I only teach stuff I can certify. I'm never going to put something out here that I know is not correct. I would never knowingly put something out here that's not correct or wrong or intentionally with volition wrong lead people, as some gurus like to say, wrong lead. And I'm not a leader, by the way. Again, coming back to the titles, not a leader. Don't care to be a leader, just a teacher. I have a question that may be a bit random. If it takes 3 witnesses to create a life claim, and RJG and DWM were the creators, who is the third witness to initiate? I don't know, because I've never seen their life claim. So I have no idea who that would be. Well, that's not entirely true. I do have some guesses as to who it could be. I do know that there were 3 men during the beginning of this, the technology. David Russell and one other individual, but I can't prove this other individual is there. It's just hearsay by folks who know them or knew them. So I would imagine that that third individual was the third name on the life claim, but it could have been anybody. It could have been David's sister. It could have been anybody. Russell's girlfriend. I don't know. It could be anybody, you know? It's like, if I want to create a life claim, all I need are 2 other people in the room with me, and I can create one. It's pretty easy. The mechanics are very simple. You just need 3 or more witnesses. That's all. Heck, since his name was on the contract for the grammar that they wrote way back when, it could have been that Gordon Gaunch guy. Could have been the third individual. I don't know if you've ever researched enough to see those videos of Russell and Gordon, where Russell looks like he's an 18-year-old in this video. He's looks very, very young, very, very young. And Gordon Gaunch looks, he's definitely more like David's age. But there's like 2 or 3 videos out there of Russell and Gordon. Just YouTube that. Russell Gould and Gordon Gaunch, or Russell and Gordon, or something like that, and you'll get some kind of hit on it on YouTube. And that would be my guess as to who the third person was. Thank you, Tedberry Combo. I appreciate that. All right. What else do I have to talk about? This will be the live stream, the public live stream for this month. Oh, you know, in the back of my head, I'm always hoping that a troll will have the balls to come on here and say the stuff that they like to say in the comments field. But it never happens, unfortunately. I also tried to do a comments video. It would have been my 100th clarity and closure in the viewers' comments video. 100 videos of viewer comments. But I recorded about 45 minutes of material and gone. Couldn't convert the file to the MP4. What a bummer that was for a minute. Because, I mean, if you're like me, which I'm sure most of us have this issue, your now space is limited and every moment is precious. And yeah, that was 45 minutes of a tough learning experience. But hopefully, I'll give it another shot later and see if I can put it together. It's going to be a magnum opus special edition because it is the 100th viewer comments video. All right, cool. Anybody else have any questions I can help them with? Grammar questions? Questions about the live life claim? Questions about C-Pass-C treaty, fate writ volition claim, port authority claim, anything like that? Domicile contract? Anything like that? No? I think I gifted all of my subs. Is the C-Pass treaty claim akin to a passport? If you think of it this way, Ted Berry, in the fiction, you have a birth certificate. In the fact, you have a live life claim. In the fiction, you have a passport. In the fact, you have a C-Pass-C treaty. So it's like the factual reflection of the fiction passport. So yeah, you're on the right track there. And this was the issue. Amun Ra, fake Mel, Robin, you, Jason is being conned. That's interesting, Lily. That's a no-no. We don't do that in correct sentence structure. We don't make claims for other people. So I wouldn't tell you you're being fooled by something or that you're doing this or doing that because that's a trespass. In the psychology of correct sentence structure, one may only make claims for oneself. So you could say that, I mean, in the domain of correct sentence structure, you could say that you're being conned, or I can say I'm being conned, but I can't say you're being conned. Do you see what I'm saying? It's a subtle psychological trespass. Now, in the domain of fiction, Babble land, you can make all the claims you want about other people. You can tell all the people to your heart's desire that they're being tricked, they're being fooled, they're being wrong led, they should do this, they should do that. Because in the fiction kind of gives people the mentality that they know what's best for everybody and they know what's going on. Okay, we're not going to get into any ad hominiming or anything like that in here. Okay, so if you could please chill on that. Any personal beef you have with somebody, this is not the place for it. Amon Ross says, I have some ideas for the use of correct sentence structure as well as preservation of this knowledge. I believe in it very much. Well, that's good, Amon Ra. I also had ideas for preservation of it. That's why I created this YouTube channel with over 1,000 free videos. Literally invested hundreds of thousands of hours in the videos on this channel as basically a lighthouse on the internet. As long as the internet's around, this will be here. long after I'm gone. So that's my contribution to it. I look forward to seeing yours. And also, um, I would recommend, since you're here on this channel and I'm the channel master and you're a guest here, I would highly recommend that you get closure on the grammar before you do anything like that. Because it's sort of like the way I look at Russell J. Gould. You know, he's claiming all these things, but he obviously doesn't have closure on the grammar. And I'm not making a claim for him. I'm doing I'm saying what I'm saying based on evidence on paper. From the evidence, he makes mistakes all over the place. Wrong positional sequencing and all that stuff. Not positioning numbers correctly. Putting spires and modifications on the 1 by 1.9 flag. So it would be a very good idea for you, I would think, as a tutor of 8+ years, to get closure on the grammar first before you do anything like that. But I mean, of course, you could do what you want to do. I have questions regarding all those things, but they are non-specific and more general. I would like to make a list of questions to ask you. By the way, my name is Nathaniel Gregory Trees. So who you Lily? Nathaniel. Nathaniel, do you have a different YouTube profile? Do you have more than one YouTube profile that you use on this channel? I think you do. Let me. I know that people have reasons for why they have multiple YouTube channels that they use. I, of course, have more than one YouTube profile. Let me look here. Yes. Yes, you do have another YouTube profile. You have a YouTube profile, Crown of Enlightenment, and you are also a member with the Crown of Enlightenment. Unless, wait, let me look at the profile picture here. Unless you changed your name. Hold on. I'm not very technically proficient, so it could possibly be that they edited their name. Not that it really matters. I mean, in the long run. Oh. Whoa, whoa, whoa. All right. Oh, they apologized. Okay. Okay. Balance, honor, and grace. Fine. What's with the name calling? Why people get so bent out of shape on the internets, bro? I always say this. I always suggest this. Why do people take stuff so personally? Nobody knows anybody here personally. I don't know any of the people in the chat personally. Anything you say is not gonna. I mean, does not gonna bother me. I only use this one profile, so that's interesting. So then, it's because in the chat you're coming up as Amun Ra, but in some of the comments I've seen Crown of Enlightenment is the name. So that's interesting. Why that is? Why that happens that way? Maybe Crown of Enlightenment is your YouTube handle, but Amun Ra is the name you log in with, something like that. I don't know. Yeah, it's always a blessing when someone shares their full correct name. Not many people do that on the interwebs these days. because they don't want to be held accountable for what they say. They can say whatever they want to say the meanest, nastiest things to people, the most hurtful, disgusting things, all under a nom de guerre, because they don't have the balls, the cojones, the guts, the intestinal fortitude to put their full correct name and face to it. It's just how the internet works, folks. Interesting. Crown of Enlightenment is my channel name. Amun-Ra is the Google name for the channel. I do have 2 channels. I don't remember using this one on here. No? I don't know. I have no idea. Sorry about that. I have no idea. In the next comments video, I do comment on some of your comments, and you will see the Crown of Enlightenment name, but it's the same profile picture you have right there for Amun-Ra. You know what's interesting about Lily Santelli is that whenever that individual, that profile comments on my videos and I publish the comments, they always get these weird spam comments from these individuals who say some very strange and weird things. I don't publish that stuff because it has nothing to do with grammar, but it's really weird that the Lily Santelli profile attracts that type of behavior for some reason. But the Lily Santelli profile itself, on my comments field, if you look at it, only says positive things, you know, compliments, prayer hands, hearts, things like that. Only here in this chat have they gone off the rails a little bit. And that's okay. Happens to everybody. Gratitude, Jason, for all your sharing. I will activate the gifted membership soon and start learning. Peace and blessings. I will, if I were you, I wouldn't wait on activating that membership because it's 30 days, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I don't know for sure if when you activate it, the 30 days starts, or if the 30 days starts from the point with which I gifted it to you. So I'm not sure. I think Lily has left, which is interesting in and of itself. All right, going on 45 minutes, 46 minutes. All right, we're out. Hope you enjoyed this live stream. I appreciate everybody that came in here. And hopefully see you next month in June's live stream. A lot can happen between now and then. I know I'm going to be very busy, but not to worry. Those of you who want the consultations that have contacted me via jasonmatthewg17@gmail.com, I'm going to get all those consultations in. Everybody that needs a workshop, you're going to get your workshops. We're going to knock this stuff out and get it done, because I'm always going to work with someone who genuinely shows volition to doing whatever it takes to learn this grammar. They're really motivated to learn it. They want to get it done. I'm there for you. Those of you that I deem not serious about it, there's always this channel. This will always be here. I have a contingency plan in place. So as long as the internet exists, this channel will exist. Thank you. Que sera, sera.